What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're here to talk about the next upcoming super evolution in One Piece Treasure Cruise. So currently in the Pirate Rumble season, it is Dex Legend Hawkins. He was the most recent super evolution. That is about to come to a close. We are going to get a new Rumble season, and apparently, according to data miners, this is the next Pirate Rumble season character that will be distributed, being Quick Magellan. So in this video, we're going to talk about his current abilities, and we're going to see how that may transfer to not only to a super evolution, but also level limit break. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at that. The thing is when this guy first debuted, he actually was somewhat decent. A lot of people were using him, was very good in Rumble for the quick teams at the time. However, as time has progressed, this character has definitely fallen out of favor, and this character does have a couple of unique abilities that we can kind of talk about, and we'll see. Hopefully maybe they'll make this guy actually usable in a lot of content, because there is some potential with this guy to receive some very good buffs. So that's the whole goal of this video. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Ink effect obviously right here, and when he does super evolve, I think he'll get the extended artwork, so I think he should look pretty cool. We'll see what happens. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the database, because it's a lot easier to actually read all the information over here. So we have Magellan, the Hope Destroying Venom. This guy right here is a shooter powerhouse character. He is quick, and I assume when he evolves, he's probably going to maintain all of these classes and types. I don't really see there to be a reason for them to change this. We'll see. Shooters is nice for him though, because, you know, I'm a big fan of the shooter class. So let's move on to his abilities. So let's have a look at this captain effect. Let's zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can read it a little easier. His captain ability says that if you are above 70% health at the start of the turn, you get a 5x attack boost to quick units. It says if you're not above the 70% threshold, you still get the 4.5x boost. Boost HP of all characters by 1.3. Boost attack of all other characters by 4x. So everyone gets a 4x bonus. Quick characters get 4.5, or if you're above 70%, 5x. Basically how it works. Reduces paralysis by 10 turns, so he's got an inbuilt utility in the captain. That's already a really big positive for the unit. He also recovers 25% of the damage that you took from enemies in the previous stage when you enter a new stage. So this is also kind of similar to what Legend Hawkins does, the most recent super evolution. So this guy does that, but on top of that, he's actually got decent multipliers when he first came out. He also has paralysis reduction. He's got a health boost. There's a lot in this guy's favor that kind of leads me to believe, at least, that there is potential with a super evolution. I'm excited to see what they do with this guy. Now, remember that when he super evolves, he's going to have two different captain effects. He's going to have the super evolution captain effect, and then he's going to have a captain effect based on how deep you are in the level limit break system. So if you get all the way to level limit break 3, I believe, is when the captain ability gets completely maxed, and then the special gets completely maxed at level limit break 5. Could be vice versa. I'm pretty sure that's how it works though. So in terms of what they could do here, I think the HP threshold is very annoying, but I could also see them leaving this, or maybe changing it to 50%. So if you're above 50%, that's when you get the bigger bonus. Now, he is still focused on quick. I would love if they pivot this guy to be focusing on boosting quick, shooter, and powerhouse units all at the same time, giving those characters the much bigger attack boost, and then still give everyone else the HP boost and the minor attack boost. He does reduce paralysis by 10 turns. That's probably not going to change. It would be very weird if they decided to remove that or change it in any way. And then recovering HP whenever you move into a new stage, that also makes sense. There's not really a lot here that I can kind of think off the top of my head that they could add. We do know that with version 1 Magellan, wherever it might be, Magellan, and we want to look at 6-star units. The 6-star plus of the quick version, this guy has a unique ability in his captain effect that says, like, based on the amount of damage that you deal, like if 300,000 damage was dealt to enemies in the last turn, poisons all enemies. So he is able to inflict poison in his captain effect. I could potentially see this with this Magellan, like potentially, like if you do a certain amount of damage, you inflict a poison, and then if you inflict like a higher value of normal attack damage, then the poison goes through immunity. Kind of similar to V1 Katakuri, where he delays with his captain effect, but then if you reach a certain multiplier or a certain value, then that delay can go through immunity, and I think something like that would be a really nice effect. Another thing is that he is a defensively focused captain, obviously with a lot of healing. He's got an HP boost. I think if they add a damage reduction effect, that would be nice. And also maybe a matching slot of some kind would be pretty neat. You know what would be cool? Because I believe when this guy first came out, poison slots were not in the game at that point. So if this guy could potentially abuse poison slots, I think that would be really cool. Maybe make it like an inverse, where normally when you tap with a poison slot, you get dealt damage. So what if he heals with that? And what if he treats them as beneficial, and then he has an ability to give you a full board of poison slots? So we know poison slots are a very uncommon thing that you don't really have to deal with that often in Treasure Cruise. But if we have a character that is dedicated to kind of dealing with that, and abusing them in a positive manner, that would be pretty cool. Because we have Reiju, right? Like the Summer Reiju legend, she also has like a lot of ways to kind of deal with the poison slot mechanic, but she just kind of removes them or changes them around. But it would be cool if we have a character that actually abuses the poison mechanic, because I mean Magellan is literally made of poison. So I think that would be a really neat effect in his captain effect, like potentially a poisoning mechanic onto the opponent. And the thing is with Magellan, as we know as a character, like his Devil Fruit actually kind of hinders him a little bit. Obviously he's always stuck in the toilet, so potentially maybe like you take damage every single turn, something like that. Just make him ultra aggressive instead of being solely focused on being defensive. Making him more aggressive, I think, would be a really neat way to make him more usable in content. Though if they do go down the aggressive route where he's taking damage every turn, you do still recover every single stage when you move on. But if they're going to make him aggressive, you would need cooldown reduction. So I mean, I could see a random -1 turn of cooldown probably appearing, but I wouldn't be surprised if that also doesn't happen either. Now, as for his crewmate abilities, I don't think these will change too much either. When he completely reduces paralysis completely on himself, so that's cool. And then when any other quick character uses a special, reduces his own cooldown by 3 turns. This is really neat, and honestly, not really needed either. I don't know why he has this, considering, just a little bit of a spoiler for those of you who don't know, this guy has double special activation. There are not many Sugofest exclusives that get double special launch, and this is one of them. So because of that, you got to keep that in mind when we read his special. He has barrier penetration, and it's the good barrier penetration as well, so I really hope they make him good for shooter teams, and then pinch healing for additional healing too. So there's lots going in his way that could be positive, right? Let's have a look at that special though. Remember, special will be, you know, you get the 6+ version, and then there's the level limit break version. So the special ability, 13 turn cooldown with expansion, 10% HP cut to all enemies. He reduces bind and burn duration by 3 turns. We'll go back to that. Boosts color affinity of all characters by 2x for 1 turn, and inflicts toxic to all enemies. If enemies are inflicted with toxic or poison upon activation of this character's special, it will boost all characters' attack by 2.5 times for 1 turn. Right, so again, a lot to break down here. So you gotta remember, this has double special launch. So the way that you would actively use it is you use the special, you remove bind and burn by 3, you get color affinity boost, you inflict toxic. You activate his special again, and because you have toxic, you also get a 2.5 times attack boost, and also a further 3 turns of bind and burn removal. What I can see them happening is maybe bumping this to 5 turns, because he does have double special launch, so it would mean it would be 10 turns total. So I could see them making this 5. It would be awesome if they made it 6, but I doubt it. I think the HP cut is probably going to stay the same. I doubt that that's going to change. The color affinity is likely going to be buffed. The attack boost is likely going to be buffed. But I think most people can kind of agree that the biggest glaring issue with this unit is this. Because he inflicts toxic, but it doesn't go through full immunity. Meaning that if the enemy has an immunity to poisons or toxic or whatever it is, or a full immunity, then you're basically only getting this. And if you really just break that down, that's not a great effect. Like, whenever are you going to need something like that? Bind and burn removal, yes, can be useful, but then he just provides a color affinity boost, so it's just not useful enough. I would love some slot manipulation, but again, we'll come back because we got to have a look at his super type. His super type also is kind of annoying because the characters that are required in order to trigger it are just not... They don't have good units, let's say. So there's Hannibal, Shiryu. Shiryu definitely has been getting better units. Domino's basically got nothing. Sadie has nothing. Cell Death has nothing. Boa Hancock is an interesting one. Sengoku, Sakazuki, Kuzan, or Borsalino. So you have to have at least one of these units to trigger his super type. The super type removes poison completely on your side of the crew, recovers 25% of damage taken from enemies on the stage when entering into the new stage. So that this is the same effect in his captain effect. So basically you can just heal more whenever you move into the next stage, and then quick becomes super quick. So obviously this kind of effect is not great. This is a pretty bad super type. So if they want to add this effect of like being able to poison through full immunity, they could potentially add that with his super type. That would be pretty cool. That would actually make him a bit more useful. But I think that there should be some slot manipulation somewhere. I would love if this is like, you know, full board of poison slots, and then like he treats the matching as a captain. I think that would make sense. Obviously, you wouldn't need a crewmate ability to make poison matching because you only get super type if you're the captain anyway. So that would be pretty neat. I'm not really 100% sure where they could kind of go with this, because this special ability just needs a lot more to make it usable in today's day and age. I mean, if you even just compare what 6+ Hawkins does compared to what the 6-star version does, it's actually a pretty big difference. They added quite a lot to his special, and they made it kind of unique in a way with the special launch number. I don't think they're going to go that crazy for a character such as Magellan, but they definitely need to do something to make him usable. And as I said, I think manipulating poison slots, making the poison go through full immunity, that's already going to make him way more useful. I really don't like characters that are solely focused around boosting color affinity, because you only get the benefit of it when you have type advantage. So if you don't have type advantage, this is a pretty redundant effect. I think the attack boost from his special ability is solid. I mean, this will probably be buffed to 2.75 or 3 times or something like that. And maybe, I don't know if they would go down this route either, but if you could potentially add a conditional boost as well. So if he could provide potentially color affinity, attack boost, and conditional boost against poison whilst poisoning through immunity, having those 3 buffs from one unit, as well as being able to remove bind and burn by X amount of turns, let's say, that would be a really useful character to have on your crew. Now, obviously, the big downside is that the super type is just, it's bad. It's terrible. It needs an overhaul completely. And the condition in order to activate it is also really bad. If they are going to have, like, guaranteed poison in his special, I would love for the super type just to say, like, whenever the enemy has poison on them, and being able to just trigger it that way, so you don't have to run these specific units on your crew. That would be pretty cool. But at the same time, I don't really expect them to change the super type requirement of this character either. So there's a lot of potential here, but the problem is it really depends on how good they are going to make this super evo, because as we know, there are some 6+ that come out that are absolutely bonkers. Like, if we just have a look real quick at some of the most recent 6+. Let's get rid of Magellan. Like, Hancock, fine. Law, decent. Lucci, decent. Luffy, sucked. Bonnie was actually really good. Arlong, fine. Rayleigh was busted. This is probably one of the best super evolutions that's ever released, in my opinion. This guy is amazing. Such a good overhaul for that guy. Kaido, Law, Shanks, Luffy, I mean, Luffy was already pretty good. He just needed bigger numbers. Zephyr, Tesoro, really good in my opinion. Whitebeard, absolutely dog shit. Sanji and Judge, terrible. Luffy obviously was a recent 6+, you know, like a release 6+, so it is what it is. This unit didn't really change that much. Like, there's just a lot of 6+s that don't do anything. So I really hope that we get some nice stuff here with this Magellan, because this guy has not been used in a really long time. And I mean, if we just have a look at the Rumble stuff real quick, because I kind of have to pull that up as well. Magellan in Rumble, he was actually saw a lot of play, especially on release. So let's have a brief rundown of his Rumble stuff before we wrap up the video. So for in Rumble, this is what he does. So he gives 5 attack to quick, 5 HP to quick, and for the first 30 seconds, level 2 special CT up for himself. So that all seems pretty decent, like nothing broken. It was just pretty fair. 27 CT is pretty respectable, which does a level 3 defense down to all enemies in a medium range. He then does 1.7 damage to all enemies in that same range. He then gives 100% chance of haste on himself, which doesn't really make sense considering you're hasting after you already use your special. So this effect is kind of weird. And then a 50% chance to haste one other quick unit. And for the first 40 seconds, if his special has been launched, he does a level 3 defense debuff to all enemies for 20 seconds. So this will most likely proc. This is very easy to get. And then, but this was the other cool thing, is that if you were able to get this to trigger on the right character, it was very, very, very massive. So I would love for them to just probably remove this and then just make this 100% chance. I think that would be a nice addition to this unit. So there's not a lot they really need to change. He's already like a solid unit, just maybe buff some of the numbers, potentially add like if he had like a defense in here as well, like level 5 defense to quick, that would be already probably more than enough that they need to do to make him better as a Rumble unit. And then the special ability, it needs higher damage. And then the range being medium range is also kind of average. If they buffed the range to a large radial range, that would be pretty good as well. But overall, like, he's fine. He's a perfectly respectable unit to be using in Rumble, honestly. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about what you think and what you're expecting from a potential 6+ of Magellan coming up real soon here in One Piece Treasure Cruise. But if you guys enjoyed it and want to stay up to date with all the One Piece Treasure Cruise content that I post, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.